What's up everyone, Tato Khadebe here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for tuning in once again. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about applying and studying at the University of Johannesburg's Jewelry Design Department. So I wanted to do this video just as a way to give people advice, those people that are trying to apply to the university, specifically in the Jewelry Design Department for 2023. And I thought, seeing that I am working at the university, I would be one of the better people to ask for advice as to what to do if you're trying to get into the course. So I want to start by saying that I am not being sponsored by the university at all to do this video. This is just me giving advice. And, the university and the department specifically is very close to my heart. And, as I've stated before, I do work at the university. And I wanted to make sure that, seeing that I do have this platform, I must give as much as I can to the university and to the department specifically. And this is just my way of doing that. So this is, as I said, not sponsored. It's pure advice of what you can do if you are looking to study jewelry design at the university specifically. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned. All right, so first and foremost, I think I just have to state it outright. The most important thing you need if you are trying to apply to study at the University of Johannesburg, and at any university for that matter, is you need a matric certificate. I think that goes without saying, but that is an important thing that you need. That's step number one. So make sure that you pass matric, and depending on how well you pass matric, that will determine which course you're gonna go for. Now that you've passed matric, what we do is we look at your APS. Now APS stands for Admission Points Score, and this is what universities use to determine if you will qualify to be in their course or not. Now the APS is calculated using your matric results. How the APS is calculated is we look at each symbol that you received in your final results, and each of those symbols is given a score. So for example, if you score a B for any of your subjects in matric, you will be awarded an APS of 6. And if you score a C for any of your subjects, the APS that will be awarded will be 5. Now this is how all of the subjects that are scored using the APS look like. So I suggest that you screenshot this, or maybe pause the video right here, and then you can write down all the different scores and how they are calculated using the symbols you've received. So the minimum APS required to study at the Jewelry Design Department at UJ is 18 with pure maths, 19 with maths literacy, and 20 with technical maths. Now I think it goes without saying that without the required APS score, you will not be considered for the course. Now the APS is just the first part of it. There's a lot more that you need to have ready in order for you to be qualified to study in the department. Now along with your application, you will also have to submit a portfolio. Now this portfolio requires the following. Number one, a jewelry designed piece that is made by the applicant. Now we're not requiring you to make the piece out of precious metals or anything like that. You can make the piece out of anything that you have at home, whether it's bottle caps or pieces of paper, or maybe even a piece of wire that you find around the house, or even pieces of wood or anything that you have that's lying around the house that you can become creative with in order for you to make that piece of jewelry. Now I also want to state that simple beaded pieces, so if you're going to take beads and you're going to string them up on a string, that we've seen so much of that over the years that it's not going to really be considered as much. It doesn't really show your creativity, so you need to kind of think outside the box in terms of the pieces that you're making. Simply stringing up beads, unfortunately, is not going to cut it. Number two, you need to submit some drawings. Now these drawings should be jewelry designed pieces that are designed by the applicant. It would be preferable if you drew stuff in 3D. That way we will be able to see if you are able to see things in perspective, and also to see how you interpret proportions. Artistic drawings are also accepted. So if for instance you did art in school, or maybe you do have an art sort of background, and there's stuff that you've done previously and you want to submit that as part of your portfolio, you're more than welcome to do that. Another thing that you can do is if you've got items around the house, let's say a kettle or maybe a microwave or a TV, you can draw those. And as I said, if you draw them in 3 dimension, it'll give us an idea of your drawing levels, and it'll obviously be more preferable if you submitted those kinds of drawings. Now for the drawings, we do require a minimum of 5 hand-drawn drawings. And as I said, it can be objects around the house. So it can be a microwave, a fridge, a TV. It can be anything that you have around the house. Now this portfolio must be submitted 3 weeks before your entrance exam date. Now please note that your application may be turned down if you fail to comply with any of the requirements. And also just a little tip, when it comes to the designed jewelry pieces that you will be submitting, the drawings that you'll be submitting, it is important that they are all original, because if there is any sign of plagiarism, that will also warrant us declining the application. All right, so number 3 might come off as a little bit controversial, but I think it is important that you guys, understand what it is that I'm saying. And that would be, you need to have a very good grip on the English language. You need to have a very good command of the language. Now, when I'm saying that it's controversial, it's because I'm not trying to say that the English language is superior compared to other languages. No, that's definitely not what I'm saying. All that I'm saying is that, the University of Johannesburg is an English medium university, which means all our assessments and all our lectures happen in English. Okay, previously, when it was the Rand Afrikaans University, it used to be an Afrikaans medium university. So, if it was back in those days, I would say you need to understand and be proficient in speaking Afrikaans. And, there's nothing wrong with that. That just depends on what the university is. And since it became UJ, the medium of instruction has now changed to English. So the advice that I'm giving now is, it's based on the fact that, over the years that I've been at UJ, there have been students that have applied to the university, and we have taken them based on the APS and based on the portfolios that they've submitted. But you'll find that maybe the command of English is not as strong as it should be, and then you find them struggling along the way, especially with some of the modules that require a lot of writing, a lot of academic writing. So if you're somebody who, for instance, struggles with speaking and writing in English, the best advice I can give you is do your best to do a lot of reading and a lot of, especially academic reading, a lot of understanding of how the English language works, because that'll make the journey within your university career a lot easier. And I'm saying all of this especially because it's not a 100% requirement that you must be very good at English, but the reason why I'm saying this is it'll make your life that much easier. You'll definitely be able to get through if your level of English isn't as high as somebody else's, but it's just gonna make your life, it's the journey might not be as smooth as somebody else who might have a better understanding. It just basically means reading as much as you can. So if you're in matric right now and you want to apply for a course like the jewelry design department or any other course for that matter, do a lot of reading during your spare time and it'll make your life that much easier. Okay, and again, this is basically because the medium of understanding or the medium of instruction is English. One day down the line, when things do change, and I think it is important that one day we do have a much more diverse medium of instruction within South Africa, because we do have 11 official languages. It doesn't make sense to only have one. But until that day happens, I'm gonna give advice that is relevant to today. And in order for you to make your life a lot easier once you do get to university, make sure that you have an understanding of how English is spoken and how to write in English. That'll make your life a lot easier. And now that leads me to my fourth piece of advice, and that has to do with the entrance exam. So once you've done all the other things that I've mentioned previously, so applying and making sure that your APS is correct, making sure that you have submitted your portfolio, you've done your drawings, you've read up and you've understood how to speak and to write in English, and all of those things are 100%, you'll then be given an entrance exam date. Now what the entrance exam is you basically come into the university, and this is now pre-COVID. Things have had to change a little bit due to the COVID-19 pandemic. but I'll speak to what we used to do before COVID-19. So you come into the university or you come into the department, and you will then be given an opportunity to write an entrance exam test. Now, this entrance exam test is based on study notes that you will have been given prior to you coming in to do the test. So that's another thing to kind of keep in mind. If you do get accepted and your application is accepted, you'll be given study notes that have to do with jewelry design related things. So you'll have to study those in preparation for the entrance exam. So once you come in for the entrance exam, you then sit down, you do the test. It starts at 8 o'clock and you should be done by midday. From midday, you'll be given an hour break where you can go out to the student center and, grab some lunch or maybe just take a walk around. 1 o'clock, you come back to the department and then you sit down for your entrance exam interview. So the interview is conducted by 2 staff members. They'll call you in and you'll come in with the portfolio that you have, which we've discussed previously. They'll have a look at the portfolio and we'll basically be asking you questions based on the portfolio and also based on who you are as a person. So you'll be asked questions about why are you interested in doing this course? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What is your end goal with this course? And what is your ultimate goal? Why is it that you want to be a jewelry designer? And it's basically a one-on-one conversation. You'll find that we want to understand, if you do get accepted, will you be somebody that takes this course seriously, and are you doing this for the right reasons? So when it comes to that, my advice for the entrance exam is basically, it might sound cliche, just be yourself and give as honest of answers as you can. Because at the end of the day, let's say you paint a very nice picture and you give us all the answers that we want to hear, you might be doing yourself a disservice in that let's say for instance, you give us answers that might not be suited for jewelry design, but they might be suited for another course. Then we can basically direct you to that course. So we'll say, for instance, it sounds like you're somebody that's interested in more artistic, visual art related subject matters. Maybe you should apply to visual art as opposed to jewelry design, or maybe it's something else. So you might be interested in more graphic design related subjects. So we might direct you to apply to visual communication, for instance. So just be yourself and make sure that you are prepared and you know as much as you can about the jewelry industry as you can, because that'll be something that will be asked to you. Another thing that is a requirement, which I forgot to mention earlier on, is you need to also go and see a manufacturing jeweler. This is somebody who is based, no matter where you're from, just do maybe a quick Google search of where you can find manufacturing jewelers in your area. Email them or go and visit them and ask them to spend a day or two in their studio, and then they'll be able to maybe give you some advice and show you how a workshop operates. And this will also give you a clearer view of what you will be expected to do when you do get accepted into the course. So that is something else that you need to basically do, because we will be asking you questions based on your experience when you were with the manufacturing jeweler. Now, for number 5, let's talk about costs. It's important that we have this conversation, because what happens is when people do apply to the course, they kind of leave the cost part of things as in the back burner. And that isn't advised to do, because if you are going to be studying at a university, you are required to pay, obviously, for the education. And the nice thing about studying at UJ, I'm not too sure how it happens at the other universities, is as long as you are able to pay your registration fee, you will be able to study for the year. As long as you make sure that you pay the tuition fee either gradually throughout the year or all together at the end of the year, in order for you to get your final results. If you do not pay for those fees either gradually throughout the year or at the end, you'll not be allowed to receive your marks at the end. So just going back to what I said earlier on, if you, and this is part of the advice, if you are able to save up the money for registration, then you know that one, you are a registered student and you can spend the rest of the year saving up the rest of the money, which is your tuition fee. And as I said, you can pay it out gradually throughout the year. And that would be the best advice that I can give you. What a lot of students do is on weekends, they'll get, part-time jobs where they're working as waiters, or maybe you are working as a tutor within your department so you can make some extra money, or any other thing that you can do in order to save up enough money to pay for your fees. That's something that is advised. So when it comes to registration fees, it depends on whether you are a South African student or if you're an international student. So for South African students, the registration fee is 3,870 rands. That's how much it costs for 2022. I'm pretty sure it'll go up maybe by 4% in 2023. And then for international students, your registration fee is 30% of your tuition fees. If you do, by some chance, happen to miss registration, you have to pay a late registration fee, and that is an additional 2,250 rand. So obviously try your best to stay away from that. Try to keep your timelines in place in order for you to be able to not miss the regular registration. Now the tuition fees for 2021 for jewelry design and manufacture is 47,170. Now I'm expecting it to go up slightly in 2023, but that's whereabouts you should be aiming for. And as I said earlier on, you aren't required to pay that amount immediately. Just as long as you pay your registration fee at the beginning, you will be registered as a student, and you've got the rest of the year to save up and to make sure that you can come up with the money to pay the tuition fees. And if you aren't able to do that, unfortunately, you will not be given your end of year results. So please make sure that you either get yourself a part-time job or any other means that you can in order to be able to pay these fees throughout the year. Now, when it comes to applications open on the 1st of April 2022, and they will close on the 30th of September 2022. So please make sure that you visit the UJ website and apply to the jewelry design department, and don't wait until it's too late, because what tends to happen is a lot of people might think they have enough time, especially because September seems like it's so far away. I would apply immediately as soon as you are done with this video. If you're interested in studying jewelry design, just visit the UJ website and apply as soon as you can. The sooner you apply, the sooner you can set up your entrance exam interview, the sooner you can work on your portfolio, the sooner you can, as I said, read up and try to understand the English language as best as you can. Just preparation is key in order for you to be able to get into the course. I really do hope that the advice that I have given today will make the process a lot easier for you. When I've been at UJ now since 2007, giving away my age a little bit, both as a student and as a staff member, and I didn't know what to expect. It was just one of those things that I'm going to apply and see what happens. And there were some elements that I was not quite prepared for, but I think because I showed that I was determined and I really wanted to do this, and I did have a natural talent when it came to drawing, it made the transition a little bit easier. So this video is just one of those things that I hope will become useful to anyone that is looking to apply to the course. And if you do, I hope to see you very soon. So that is about it for me for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. Please do share this with anyone that is looking to study jewelry design and manufacture, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.